Like we can, we can go ahead and jump into it. Toni Storm,
Tony Storm.
she requested her release
Hmm.
and was granted it.
And they said it was probably granted too, since the fact of all these other budget cuts,
Mm-hmm.
that it made sense. But you know, since you said that, I did have something.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so somebody compiled a list: Tony Storm,
Mm-hmm.
Amber Moon,
Mm-hmm.
Tegan Knox,
Mm-hmm.
Taya Valkyrie,
Yep.
or Frankie Monet, Mia Yim, Mercedes Martinez, Marina Shafir, Jessamine Duke, Lana, Ruby Riot, Nia Jax, Santana Garrett, the Iconics, Mickey James, and Chelsea Green. You could build a whole promotion with just the women WWE let go this year.
Yeah, you could, which is surprising when you list them off like that because it never registered. Because I knew Ember was released, but I completely forgot that she was. And then when you brought it back up, it's like, damn, she was released.
Hmm.
Ah, yeah. You know what? And I think before we even get into the whole Tony situation, it this women's division in WWE is really just falling to the wayside of almost complete non-existence.
I mean, if we're looking at SmackDown now,
Mm-hmm.
Charlotte being champion, we have Sasha, Xia Li, Naomi, Natalia, Shayna, and what's her name dabbles every now and then, Sonya.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
Wow,
Yeah, that's it.
that list was lackluster.
Yeah, that's it.
And I mean, that's not to say that it's missing star
Oh,
power.
sorry,
It's
and
just it's
Shotzi.
very small.
And Shotzi.
And do you have the list for Raw?
Raw, we have Becky, Liv, Nikki ASH, Rhea, Carmella, Queen Zelina, Bianca, Doudrop, Tamina, and Dana Brooke.
Okay,
And if you
so
want to count Maurice, that's like I said,
so
if you want to count Maurice.
it
Oh, Aaliyah is
seems
on one of them shows.
I think she's on SmackDown.
I would say, yeah, she's on one of them. So wherever Leah falls, but yeah, that's it.
It seems that you have because I'm pretty sure it's two horsewomen per show.
Yes,
At least we'll see when Bailey returns. I'm pretty sure she'll go into Raw.
I would say so.
Um,
Technically, we still have Bailey and Lacey Evans out right now.
oh damn, I completely forgot about Lacey Evans.
Yeah, so we have Bailey and Lacey Evans out. Bailey, Lacey Evans, and Alexa Bliss. So we
Well,
have them
that's
three women out right now.
if Lacey and Alexa decide to come back.
Well, I can see Lacey coming back. I can see her coming back. I can see Bliss potentially coming back.
Mhm.
So yeah, we still have them three women in the wings waiting for when they're good to go.
Okay.
So that's
So
all the women that's on the main roster at the moment.
so the thing that's throwing me off a little bit because it seems that you have the four horsewomen
Hmm.
and then you have a roster of enhancement talent for the four horsewomen because it seems like you're gonna have them at the top. They'll battle for the tag team titles that which are not important at all right
Hmm.
now or period, and you'll just have people contend for the women's championships on whichever respective show, and then you'll have the belts trade between the horsewomen.
Hmm.
Now, I could be wrong. 2022 could have it to where you get a whole plethora of new
Well,
champions.
if day one has its way, potentially, which I doubt, Liv Morgan could beat Becky.
She should. It would
So
be right.
that would give a new champion, but the problem is Liv Morgan beats Becky, then that goes back to square one between Becky, Doudrop, Bianca, and I'm pretty sure if they ever break away Rhea and Nikki ASH from the whole tag team scene. So it's not like it's gonna be that much people to contend with unless they about to do some random NXT call-ups, which I can definitely see that happening. And then, you know, Toni was going against Charlotte before Toni decided to call for her release. So unless they about to start, once again, like you just mentioned, they're going to most likely start running back Sasha versus Charlotte.
Yeah. And now I didn't see that match, but if I remember
I didn't see
hearing it correctly, I don't know if Toni won that match by disqualification or
I think she lost. She won the match by disqualification to get the title shot, but I think she actually lost the match.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, it's just the booking's weird because I mean you think about all these call ups from NXT and they can sit here and they can say, you know, they want this change, but it's almost blatant when you look at it because it's like, yo, they're trying to get rid of the NXT of old, like all the stars that Triple H brought in and brought up that he did right by. It's like they're just completely getting rid of, you know, outside of a few other people, but people that he had like a soft spot for. Tegan, for one, was somebody he had a soft spot for. Keith Lee, Karrion Kross, a lot of these guys he wanted to push majorly, and you know they just wanted to completely shit on, and then going by, you know, the interview that Karrion Kross had with Renee Paquette, they pretty much promised him that things were gonna, you know, go in his favor. You know, they had plans for him, and then they just shit all over him.
Yeah, I mean, you know, that's the weird thing because, you know, when I told my brother, shout out to Mike, when I told him about Toni Storm getting released, the first thing he was shit, they ain't know what to do with her anyway. The problem is that why bring talent up with no plan? Like, that's the one thing I don't get. What's the point of doing call-ups from NXT if you have no plan? Like, I can see if they get injured, or I can see if, you know, something just goes wrong, but you called up Tegan, you called up Shotzi, you called up Toni, you called up Hit Row, mainly B-Fab, then did nothing. Nothing. So I don't get it. I can see why Toni was like, you know what? I can see the writings on the wall here.
Yeah, and that's another thing, especially about the NXT call up deal, because now it seems with this whole NXT 2.0 thing, because I did catch a few things with like the Grayson Waller stuff with AJ Styles. They're keeping continuity between the two shows with this because I believe he was on Raw, right? Grayson Waller ended up going to Raw.
He was front row on Raw, and AJ invited him in the ring to talk shit to him.
So they're able to do this now, but yet they wanted to abolish anything Triple H NXT related whenever they called these people up, because he basically made it easy to have these guys called up and be perfectly fine without any issues. But they go and they just do whatever the fuck they want and forget anything that Triple H did with them that actually made them credible stars.
Yep.
So it does seem like it's a complete like agenda filled thing, and it's like you can't look at it and then try to tell me that no, that's not what they're doing, and whatever they try to say, it's almost bullshit because the actions show vastly different outcomes.
Yes.
So yeah. Now as far as Toni goes, yeah, they definitely didn't know what to do with her. Like it's crazy how they do her perfectly fine in the Mae Young Classic. They have her have the finals in the Mae Young Classic with between her and Io Shirai, and have a fantastic match at Evolution.
Mm-hmm.
Then she goes to NXT UK and has the awesome underdog babyface rising story against Rhea Ripley and have her become champion. They do fine with that. Then they have her go to NXT US, have her become a heel, a good heel at that. Have her go into War Games, do all this other stuff. She kind of slowed down and feels it a little bit, but she was still fine. She gets called up, and you think they may do something with her, and then just nope, straight to catering. So it's not surprising that she requested a release. I'm glad that she requested a release.
Oh,
because
I forgot too. There's another woman still waiting in the wings too. I forgot about Asuka.
Oh shit!
I forgot Asuka.
Poor Asuka.
So Asuka, Bailey, Lacey, and Bliss are still waiting.
Okay,
I totally forgot.
So then let me ask this, because I know it's going to be a thing that people try to throw in there, and we'll get into more of it later on when we get to AEW. But with all these women being released, do you think it hurts AEW to hire the majority of these women?
So I'm glad you brought this up, because I've been thinking about this recently. 2022, AEW is going to have to make a serious decision here. And their decision is either going to be, do we keep? So AEW is going to have three different things that's going to happen. Either we keep the model we have right now to try to appease everybody, making sure people have jobs, making sure people survive. That's one avenue. Avenue B is, there's a lot of talent out there. Do we risk getting talent in risk of hurting what we have? Or Avenue C, pull the WWE route. All you people who's featured on Dark and Dark Elevation, we not gonna need you anymore, because option B could happen. Because you got to think, if we're looking at who's out there in the talent pool right now, it's a lot of people. We're still talking about the ROH people, and we're talking about the WWE people whose 90 days will be up in like February, March, and in Tony's case, I think April.
Yeah,
April going into May, I think. So I think they're gonna have to eventually start cutting a lot of losses, in a sense, to potentially get these people.
Okay.
But in this process, because like with them, I guess spoiler alert, with them just getting Mercedes Martinez, it's gonna be some serious thinking AEW is gonna have to do, because either they're gonna be the company who's gonna truly get all these ex people who just came from WWE, or they're gonna have to draw the line at some point.
Yeah. I was thinking along the same lines of that, but I start thinking about how Tony Khan does his contracts. He doesn't just fire people; he allows their contracts to go through their full extension.
Yeah,
and then he decides whether or not he's going to either renew that contract or just cut ties, which I think is a fantastic business plan. Now in terms of the women, I was worried at first, because I was like, okay, AEW might get a bad rap by allowing all these women to come in and end up taking spots. But then I thought about pretty much, I think, the Dynamite from this week. And they did a lot of women's promos, and they did a lot of vignettes that they showed like different feuds. So they're able to maintain a number of feuds at one time. And what I think they're going to end up doing, I think they're in the rebuilding process. I think what they're doing is they're getting all their assets together, and they're finding out, okay, who's going to be at the top, the mid, and at the bottom. And I think they're going to kind of trim the fat, for lack of a better term.
I mean, if listing all those women, if Mia Yim, Ember, and a few others decide to go, because I know Marina has shown up,
Yeah, I think
If a
she's
few of those women,
ROH.
uh, if a few of those women decide to truly show up, if let's just say Nia Jax wants to do it because they already got Ruby Riott or Ruby Soho. I know Santana Garrett has made an appearance. Like I said, Mercedes Martinez. So if like let's say Ember Moon, Tegan Knox, or Nixon, Newell, if all of these people want to show up, where does that put people like Statlander, Penelope Ford, Bunny, um, uh, Jamie Hayter, Riho, Amy Sakura, Abaddon? Where does that put some of them women? Because we know Britt Baker, we know Jade Cargill, Nyla Rose, um, maybe Sheeta. Who else? I know I'm forgetting some folks. Like people like Anna Jay, Ty Conti, all these people. Where would that start to put them in this weird little bubble? Because if an influx of new women talent start coming in, where would that put them?
This is where they do their smartest thing. And this is why I like the fact or the idea of this TBS championship, because a mid card title for the women makes a lot of sense, because if you want to create the potentially the best women's division in America, the best way to go about it is, of course, just like every other promotion has, they have a women's title. And that's normally all they have outside of, Impact, WWE, that now have, women's tag team titles. If you want to showcase the workhorses, then you basically do what WWF did back in the day with the Intercontinental Championship.
Yeah.
You basically get a crux of women. You get a good 2 handfuls of women, and you showcase how important this belt is before getting to the top. And this is what I think that they're doing now, because a lot of the women that they have on there are, outside of the women that's been there from the beginning, a lot of them are, dark and elevation mainstays. So they're particularly enhancement talent. And I think what they're going to end up doing after they do kind of trim the fat is they're going to start showcasing basically the playing field of who's going to be here and who's going to be like the top women to look out for, and who's going to be the utility players, for the time being until something happens. So I think that's what they're going to do. Now, I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong in this, but I'm hopeful that that's the plan that they're going with, because it leads me to believe that we are about to see a complete change in AEW's women division in the right direction with a lot of these experienced people, because Mercedes Martinez is a good get.
Yes.
And with the way that she's been showcased on Dynamite this week is perfect.
And not only that, but then you have her automatically feuding with Thunder Rosa too.
Exactly. And we'll get into that too when we talk about that match, which, spoiler alert, it's a good match. But yeah. So but since we are talking about Toni, where do you think she goes?
Depending on where Juice is at.
That's right. That's right.
I would say if Juice is in the States, she might stay in the States. She might make some appearances with Impact. She might make an appearance or two on AEW. So I think it all depends on Juice, because if Juice goes back to Japan, then she might go to I literally just had the promotion in my head.
NJPW.
But what's that women's division with? Stardust?
Stardom?
Shimmer? Stardom. Thank you. Stardom. That's what I was thinking. I was like, I just had it. She might say depends on where Juice is at.
Now, you know what? Now that you say that, I think that she would be an amazing floater.
Yeah, she would be an amazing floater.
Matter of fact, I think she should do what Kenny was trying to do. I think she should go and try to collect belts. Yeah.
So like I said, she will be free come the beginning of April. So right around the beginning of April, her 90-day clause will be up over with. So she got time to think about it.
Yeah. Perfect.